Some people just seem to have like this incredible gift for music, right? Like
Uh-huh.
they can hear a song once and then play it perfectly, or they can name any note like without even looking at an instrument.
Yeah.
It's that whole perfect pitch thing.
Right.
That's always felt kind of like a superpower to me. You either have it or you spend your life like just wishing you did.
Yeah, it really is remarkable how much that belief has just totally permeated our understanding of music.
Yeah,
You know, for centuries, we've considered perfect pitch this like innate talent, something you're born with, like having blue eyes.
right. Totally out of reach for us mere mortals.
Uh-huh.
But what if I told you that that might not be entirely true? There's this fascinating new study out of the University of Surrey. It was published in the Psychonomic Bulletin Review,
Oh, wow.
and it's causing quite a stir.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm interested.
It claims that adults can actually learn perfect pitch.
Wow.
And they've got some pretty compelling evidence to back it up.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
I know, right?
What did they find? Did they teach like a couple people to maybe recognize a few notes here and there?
Well, not at all.
Okay.
They assembled a group of 12 adult musicians, and they put them through this really rigorous 8-week online training program. The results, well, let's just say they challenge everything we thought we knew about musical ability.
Okay.
Yeah.
So spill it. How many pitches could they actually identify after this training?
Okay, get this. Participants learned to identify an average of 7 pitches with 90% accuracy.
Wow.
And remember, this was after just 8 weeks of focused training.
That's impressive.
Right, 7 pitches. Wow. That's impressive on its own, but average implies that some people did even better than that, right?
You're picking up on the key point here.
Mm.
While the average was 7, 2 participants actually achieved something truly remarkable.
Oh, wow.
They mastered all 12 pitches, not only with perfect accuracy, but with a speed and precision comparable to individuals who just naturally possess perfect pitch.
Hold on. Are you saying these 2 individuals went from 0 to musical superhero in just 2 months?
I know. It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
That's mind-blowing. I bet our listener is just as amazed as I am. This completely reframes the idea of like what's even possible.
It does. This isn't simply about just learning a few notes. It challenges our fundamental assumptions about musical cognition and the limits of human potential. Something as complex as perfect pitch can be learned in adulthood. What else might we be capable of that we've just dismissed as unattainable?
It's kind of like cracking the code on a secret language, right?
Surely.
Suddenly this whole world of sound just opens up. But I am curious what made this online program different from, say, just practicing scales on a piano app.
Well, this program had some very unique features designed to isolate and train the specific skill of pitch recognition.
Okay.
For one, it focused on teaching participants to recognize what's called pitch class, rather than just specific notes.
Pitch class. That sounds a little technical. Can you break that down for our listeners who might not be, music theory gurus?
Sure, think of it this way. The note C, regardless of whether it's played on a piano, a guitar, or sung by a soprano, always belongs to the pitch class C.
Uh-huh.
Perfect pitch isn't about identifying a particular C on a specific instrument. It's about recognizing the inherent C-ness of any C, regardless of its octave or timbre.
Oh, so it's about recognizing the essence of a pitch no matter where it shows up.
Exactly.
That makes sense. What other strategies did this program use?
Well, the researchers took steps to minimize reliance on relative pitch strategies,
Hmm.
which are mental shortcuts musicians often use to identify notes. Think of it like figuring out a note on the guitar by relating it to the open string that you just heard.
Right.
This study wanted to see if people could identify pitches purely on their own without any of those mental crutches.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it was like a boot camp for their ears, right? Forcing them to really hone in on the pure sound of each pitch.
Exactly, and to make sure that the participants weren't just getting lucky with their answers, the program required them to repeatedly master the final levels,
Hmm.
demonstrating a consistent ability to identify those pitches.
That's smart. It really eliminates that possibility of, flukes or random guessing. It sounds like they designed a pretty rigorous experiment.
They did, and another thing that makes these findings even more compelling is that the study included musicians with varying levels of experience.
So it wasn't just limited to people who already had like a really strong musical background.
Precisely, the researchers deliberately included participants with a range of experience, which suggests that this ability to learn perfect pitch might not be restricted to a select few.
That's a huge point. It really opens up the possibilities for anyone who's interested in developing this skill. It makes you wonder if maybe we've been underestimating the potential of adult learners in general.
Absolutely. The study raises some really profound questions about the nature of talent versus learned skills. If something as complex as perfect pitch can be acquired through training, what other abilities might we unlock with the right approach? Maybe many skills we consider like innate are actually more malleable than we think.
It's almost like we've been putting these artificial limits on ourselves, assuming that we're stuck with whatever natural abilities we're born with. But this research suggests that our brains are far more adaptable than we give them credit for.
Exactly. And it has fascinating implications for fields beyond music. Imagine the potential impact on language learning, mathematics, or even athletic performance.
It makes you wonder if we could revolutionize education and training across a wide range of disciplines.
It's certainly a thought-provoking concept.
Now, while this study is incredibly exciting, it's important to acknowledge that it's just one piece of the puzzle, right? We can't get carried away and assume that everyone will be walking around with perfect pitch after a few weeks on an app.
Of course, more research is definitely needed to replicate these findings and explore different training methods. It's important to approach these results with a healthy dose of scientific skepticism.
Right. We need to see if this approach holds up across different populations, age groups, and musical styles. It would be fascinating to see if there are any factors that might influence how easily someone can learn perfect pitch.
Exactly, and it's important to remember that even with this training, not everyone achieved perfect pitch mastery. There's still a lot we don't understand about individual differences in learning aptitude and how those might interact with training techniques.
True, there's always going to be variability in how people respond to any kind of learning program. But even with those caveats, I think this research is a game changer. It's a powerful reminder that our brains are constantly evolving and adapting, and that we're capable of far more than we often believe.
I completely agree. It's a remarkable testament to the plasticity of the human brain and its ability to learn and grow throughout our lives.
Yeah, it really makes you question, those assumptions that we often make about ourselves and our abilities. Maybe we're all capable of way more than we realize.
It's an incredibly empowering message, isn't it? This research challenges us to reconsider those boundaries between inherent talent and acquired skills. Perhaps there are many gifts that are actually within our reach, just waiting to be unlocked, with dedication and the right kind of training.
Right, and that brings us back to the core of this deep dive. We started by exploring this idea that perfect pitch was this elusive, almost like mythical ability. But this study has revealed that it might be more attainable than we previously thought. It's a powerful reminder that science is constantly challenging conventional wisdom, pushing the limits of what we understand about ourselves and our potential.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful example of how scientific inquiry can lead to unexpected discoveries that completely reshape our understanding of the world and, our place within it. And it speaks to the importance of staying curious, always questioning our assumptions, never giving up on the pursuit of knowledge.
So, to our listener out there, what talents or skills have you always dreamed of having but maybe dismissed as impossible? Maybe it's learning a new language, mastering a musical instrument, or excelling in a particular sport. This research suggests that maybe, just maybe, those dreams aren't as far-fetched as you might think. Perhaps with the right approach and a belief in your own potential, you can achieve things you never thought possible. Food for thought, isn't it?